The rain had just begun when a small girl, no older than 7, burst through the doors of the police station. Her clothes were damp, her hair stuck to her cheeks, and she was breathing so fast she could barely speak. The officers looked up in shock as she stumbled forward, tears streaming down her face. Please come to my home, she begged, her voice trembling. It's my mom. She needs help. Officer Daniel knelt in front of her, gently placing his hands on her shoulders. You're safe now. Tell me your name. Aisha, she whispered. Please hurry. Within seconds, 2 officers grabbed their coats and followed Aisha as she ran through the rainy streets. She kept wiping her eyes, trying to stay strong, but her small hands were shaking. The officers exchanged worried glances. They didn't know what they were walking into, but whatever it was, this child had faced it alone long enough. Aisha led them to a small, dim apartment building. The hallway lights flickered, and everything was silent except for the sound of rain hitting the windows. She pushed open her front door and pointed inside with trembling fingers. They entered cautiously, expecting the worst. But what they found wasn't a crime scene. It was a woman lying on the floor, pale and barely conscious. Aisha immediately rushed to her mother's side, holding her hand. She tried to make food for me, Aisha cried softly, but she fell. She said she was just tired, but she couldn't get up. Officer Daniel knelt beside the woman. She was weak, clearly ill, but still managed to squeeze her daughter's hand. I told her to get help, she whispered, but she didn't want to leave me alone. Aisha's eyes filled again. I got scared when she stopped talking, so I ran to you. Paramedics were called instantly. When they arrived, they lifted the woman carefully onto a stretcher. As they prepared to take her out, she looked at her daughter with teary eyes. You saved me, she whispered. You were so brave. Aisha grabbed her mother's hand tightly, as the officers reassured her she could ride along in the ambulance. Before they left, she looked back at Officer Daniel with the purest gratitude in her eyes. Look, he knew he would never forget. Hours later, the officers received an update. Aisha's mother had collapsed from exhaustion and untreated illness, but she would recover because help had arrived just in time. When Officer Daniel visited the hospital the next day, he found Aisha sitting beside her mother's bed, coloring quietly. As soon as she saw him, she jumped up and hugged him tightly. Thank you for coming with me, she said. He smiled down at her. No, Aisha. Thank you for being strong enough to ask for help. Her mother watched them with tears of relief in her eyes. Tears that matched the ones everyone had felt when they learned what this brave little girl had done. A small child had run through the rain. Terrified but determined, and because of her courage, her family was still whole.